The danger of being yourself, why the modern man has forgotten who he is. There is a particular kind of violence that leaves no bruises. It does not come from an enemy. It does not arrive with a warning. It seeps in slowly, through screens, through feeds, through the quiet hum of a notification at 2 a.m., until the man you once were becomes unrecognizable even to yourself. This is the violence of the modern world against identity. And the most disturbing part? You invited it in. The self as performance. For most of human history, a man's identity was forged in private, in struggle, in silence, in the choices he made when no one was watching. Marcus Aurelius wrote his Meditations with no intention of publication, no audience, no approval. He was not building a personal brand, he was interrogating his own soul, holding himself accountable to a standard that existed entirely within him. Confine yourself to the present, he wrote. Not to the performance of the present, not to the curated image of the present, the raw, unfiltered, unglamorous present. Now consider what we have built in his absence. A civilization where the self is not discovered, it is designed. Where identity is not lived, it is posted. Where authenticity has become the most sophisticated form of performance, because even the act of being real online is calculated for maximum engagement. The modern man does not know who he is anymore. He only knows what performs well. 2. The algorithm as identity thief. Social media did not simply distract us. That would have been forgivable. What it did was far more surgical. It replaced the internal voice, the one that asks, "What do I actually believe?" with an external mirror that asks, "What will be rewarded?" Every like is a small instruction. Every viral moment is a blueprint. Every comment section is a tribunal, quietly sentencing certain parts of you to silence and elevating others to visibility. Over time, without noticing, you begin to edit yourself. Not the way a writer edits for clarity, but the way a prisoner edits for survival. You soften the opinions that cost you followers. You amplify the ones that earn applause. You discover that vulnerability performs better than strength, so you perform vulnerability. You discover that outrage gets shared, so you manufacture outrage. And somewhere in that process, the original draft of who you were gets deleted. The philosopher Epictetus, a man who was literally born a slave, understood freedom more profoundly than most free men ever will. He wrote, "Man is disturbed not by things, but by the opinions he has about things." Imagine what he would say about a world where we have outsourced even our opinions to an algorithm. 3. The courage it takes to disappear. Here is what no one tells you about being yourself in the modern world. It requires a kind of disappearance. To find out who you actually are, you must first become invisible, to the feed, to the followers, to the endless performance of selfhood that social media demands. You must be willing to sit in a room with no audience, no validation, no external confirmation that you exist and that your existence matters. Most men cannot do this anymore. Not because they are weak, but because the silence has become unbearable, and the algorithm has made sure of it. Psychologists call it ego depletion. The Stoics called it loss of the ruling faculty. The language is different. The wound is the same. When you cannot be alone with your own thoughts without reaching for your phone, you are not free. You are not even present. You are a tenant in your own mind, paying rent to a platform that profits from your restlessness. For the most radical act. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire on earth. He had every reason to perform, every incentive to curate an image, to manage perception, to be what the world needed him to appear to be. Instead, he wrote, "Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect." Self-respect. Not self-image. Not self-brand. Not self-presentation. Self-respect, which can only exist when the self is real. This is the most radical act available to the modern man, to refuse the performance. To build an interior life so rich, so disciplined, so genuinely your own, that no algorithm can reach it. To have opinions you have never posted. Beliefs you have never optimized. A version of yourself that exists only for you, and is therefore the truest version that exists at all. The danger of being yourself in the modern world is real. You will be misunderstood. You will be invisible to the metrics. You will occasionally feel the cold discomfort of a silence that has not been filled with content. But on the other side of that silence is the only version of you worth becoming. Reflection, the silence you keep avoiding. There is a moment, usually late at night, when everything goes quiet. The screen turns off. The notifications stop. The world finally stops speaking to you. And in that exact moment, something uncomfortable happens. You are left alone with yourself. No filters. No approval. No audience. Just you and whatever you have become. The problem is, for many people, this moment is no longer bearable. Because the modern man has forgotten how to live inside his own mind. He has been trained to react, not to reflect. To consume, not to contemplate. To perform, not to understand himself. And the more he avoids that silence, the further he drifts from who he truly is. The invisible conflict. Every day there is a battle happening inside you. On one side, the world demanding your attention. Algorithms fighting for your focus. Opinions trying to shape your thoughts. On the other side, a quieter voice, a calmer voice, a more honest voice. That voice is who you really are. But it does not shout. It does not compete. It does not beg for attention. It simply waits. What Marcus Aurelius understood that we forgot. Marcus Aurelius ruled one of the most powerful empires in history, and still found time to rule himself. He did not need likes to validate his ideas. He did not need an audience to justify his existence, because he understood something simple. A man who does not depend on external approval cannot be controlled. Today we live the opposite. People no longer ask, "Is this true?" They ask, "Will this perform well?" The fragmented identity. Slowly, without noticing, you begin to split into versions of yourself. The version you show online. The version you think you should be. The version others expect. And the version you truly are. And the further these versions drift apart, the more confused you feel. Anxiety is not only caused by too much information. It is caused by the distance between who you are and who you are pretending to be. The most courageous act today. In today's world, being yourself has become an act of rebellion. Not posting everything. Not reacting to everything. Not having an opinion about everything. But choosing calmly what you believe, what you value, and who you decide to be when no one is watching. This requires courage, because it means accepting that you will not be understood by everyone. You will not be approved by everyone. You will not be seen all the time. But in return, you regain something that almost no one has today. A mind that truly belongs to you. Silence is not empty. Most people fear silence because they think it is empty. But silence is not empty. It is a space where you can reorganize your thoughts, hear your conscience, rebuild your identity. Silence does not destroy you, reveals you. Final reflection. Perhaps the greatest danger of the modern world is not technology itself. It is forgetting that you have an inner life. Because the moment you lose that, you stop being the author of your life and become just a character in someone else's script. So the real question is not, who do you show yourself to be? The real question is, backhand index pointing right, who are you when no one is watching? The battle against the algorithm is daily, but today you won a round. Thank you so much for dedicating your time to Aurelius Brain. If you felt this message needed to reach more people, please like and share it with a friend who is also a slave to dopamine. Don't leave without subscribing and turning on notifications. Leave a comment with the word unwavering, so I know who stayed until the end. Thanks for watching and see you soon in Aurelius Brain.